Ministers push PM to fire source behind secret media leaks. Senior ministers are urging Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer to fire whoever leaked anonymous reports to the media claiming he faces a leadership challenge. Energy Secretary Ed Miliband and Health Secretary Wes Streeting, both mentioned in those leaks as possible rivals, are demanding that the person responsible be identified and removed. The controversy grew after Sir Keir personally apologized to Streeting, with reports saying the Prime Minister was furious about the situation. The leaks have also increased pressure on Sir Keir's Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney. Some senior government members believe he has contributed to a toxic atmosphere inside No. 10 Downing Street. Speaking to the BBC, Miliband admitted it had been a rough few days and said the party must learn from this and get back to focusing on what matters. He added that he believed Sir Keir would want to uncover who leaked the information and remove them if possible. He really hates leaks or seeing cabinet colleagues attacked in the media, Miliband said. People might wonder if he hates it so much, why can't he stop it? The truth is, sometimes these things happen, and you can't always tell where they come from. Some Labour MPs have suggested Miliband himself as a potential challenger to Starmer, but he ruled it out. "I've already done that job," he said, referring to his time as Labour leader from 2010 to 2015. Sir Keir's short apology call to Streeting on Wednesday evening hasn't stopped frustration among the Health Secretary's supporters, who say the negative briefings continue. Although Streeting avoided directly blaming McSweeney and even praised his role in Labour's election win, his allies argue that this kind of toxic briefing culture has followed Starmer from opposition into government. Few advisors from Starmer's opposition days still work with him, and McSweeney is the most senior among them. He has not commented on the matter. During Prime Minister's questions, Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch accused Starmer of losing control of his government and the trust of the British people. She also questioned whether he still had confidence in McSweeney, who she said was responsible for No. 10's culture. Sir Keir responded, "Morgan McSweeney, my team and I are fully focused on delivering for the country. I have never approved attacks on my cabinet members. I chose them because they are the best people for their jobs." He added that any attack on any cabinet member is unacceptable and praised Streeting for doing a great job. After PMQs, the Prime Minister's press secretary told reporters that the leaks about Streeting did not come from inside No. 10 and confirmed that Sir Keir still had full confidence in McSweeney. The spokesperson would not confirm whether an investigation was underway, but said any leaks would be dealt with. The ongoing fallout from the anonymous briefings has created new divisions inside the Labour government, with several MPs warning that internal fighting could damage public trust at a critical time. Party insiders say the controversy could not have come at a worse moment, with the government preparing to release its first major budget since taking office. Some lawmakers fear the distraction could overshadow key policy announcements and hand the opposition an advantage. One senior Labour figure described the mood in Downing Street as extremely tense, saying people are walking on eggshells. Everyone wants to know who was behind it, but nobody is talking. Others within the party believe that unless Starmer takes firm action, the leaks could spiral into a deeper crisis about leadership and loyalty inside his top team. "It's not just about one story," one Labour MP told reporters. "It's about discipline and trust. If Keir doesn't act, it sends a message that people can get away with this kind of behavior." Meanwhile, political commentators say the incident highlights the challenge of keeping unity within a new government that rose to power on promises of stability and integrity. Critics argue that the episode risks damaging Starmer's image as a calm and competent leader. The Conservative opposition has also seized on the moment, accusing the Prime Minister of losing control of his administration only months into his term. Tory MPs say the chaos shows that Labour's internal divisions never truly disappeared after years in opposition. Despite the mounting pressure, Starmer's allies insist the Prime Minister remains focused on governing. He's not distracted by gossip or games, one aide said. He's focused on results, not rumors. Behind the scenes, there are reports that senior advisors have begun quietly reviewing communication procedures inside Number 10 to prevent further leaks. Staff members have been warned to be cautious about speaking to the media, and some briefings have reportedly been postponed. For now, the government is trying to project unity, but with the budget announcement approaching and speculation continuing over who was responsible for the leaks, the atmosphere inside Labour remains uncertain. As one minister put it, this could all blow over if the Prime Minister acts decisively, but if not, it could turn into something much bigger.
Behind closed doors, frustration is quietly growing among several cabinet members who feel that Number 10 has not done enough to track down the person responsible for the damaging briefings. Some believe the lack of a clear internal investigation could encourage more leaks in the future. According to one government source, everyone is waiting for someone to take responsibility, but so far, there's only silence. The longer it drags on, the worse it looks for the Prime Minister. Insiders say that while Starmer's public tone remains calm, he is privately angry about how the situation has played out. People close to him describe him as determined but disappointed, especially since the controversy has overshadowed key government priorities such as healthcare reform and the clean energy rollout. Meanwhile, loyal Labour MPs are working to shift attention back to policy. They argue that the government's energy and healthcare plans are too important to be buried under political drama. The country voted for change, one backbencher said. We can't afford to waste time fighting each other. However, some critics say the issue points to deeper cracks in Starmer's leadership style, claiming that his tight inner circle has created distance between the Prime Minister and other members of his cabinet. There's a sense that decisions are made by a few people at the top, one senior party figure said. That creates resentment and mistrust. The opposition has wasted no time in using the controversy as political ammunition. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch continued to press her attack, saying the British people wanted a government that could lead, not one that leaks. This chaos shows Labour is not ready to govern. Political analysts suggest that while the leak itself may not bring down Starmer's leadership, it could damage his reputation for discipline and control, qualities that helped him win power earlier in the year. At Westminster, reporters say tensions are high. Each new headline adds more pressure for Number 10 to take action, and speculation about a possible reshuffle is already spreading through government offices. For now, Starmer's allies are urging patience, saying the Prime Minister is focused on the bigger picture. They insist that internal disputes will be handled quietly and that Starmer remains confident in both his team and his Chief of Staff. Still, the question remains: who was behind the anonymous briefings, and how far up the chain did the leaks go? Until that question is answered, the pressure on the Prime Minister and his promise to restore unity inside Labour will only continue to grow. As the days pass, the mystery behind the anonymous briefings has turned into a full-blown political storm. Journalists have begun digging deeper, and whispers in Westminster suggest that more damaging information could soon emerge. Political reporters from several major newspapers are now investigating whether the leaks came from inside the government or from former campaign staff still connected to Labour's leadership circle. One insider told The Guardian, "There are people who never truly left campaign mode. They still act like it's a political battlefield instead of a government office." The speculation has created nervousness across Whitehall. Staff members have been told to tighten security on internal communications, and some ministers have reportedly started limiting who can attend high-level meetings. Meanwhile, opposition MPs are pushing for an official investigation. In a heated Commons debate, Conservative members accuse Starmer of protecting his inner circle instead of protecting the integrity of government. Senior Labour figures, however, insist that such claims are politically motivated. This is about trying to score points, not about the truth, one Labour spokesperson said. The Prime Minister has made it clear, any leaks will be dealt with. Despite those reassurances, doubts remain. Even some within Labour's own ranks have quietly questioned whether Morgan McSweeney can survive the growing controversy. If the story keeps dragging on, someone will have to take the blame, one MP admitted. Political analysts say the crisis has entered a crucial stage. Starmer can't afford to appear weak, said Dr. Helen Morris, a political commentator at King's College London. If he fails to act decisively, it could embolden rivals inside his party and weaken his public image. Public opinion polls show a slight drop in support for the Prime Minister in recent days, though Labour remains overall ahead. Analysts warned that continued infighting could erode that lead, especially if the leaks continue. Meanwhile, supporters of Wes Streeting have become more vocal. They insist the health secretary has remained loyal to the Prime Minister and that he should not be treated as a rival. Wes has done nothing wrong, one ally said. He's focused on fixing the NHS, not fighting for power. But others suggest that the damage has already been done. Once the idea of a leadership challenge gets out, it's hard to put it back in the box, a veteran Labour strategist said. Even if the leaks stop, the suspicion stays. As journalists continue to chase new leads and sources, Downing Street remains on high alert. Number 10 has reportedly increased media monitoring, and staff have been instructed to report any contact from reporters immediately. Behind the scenes, pressure is growing for the Prime Minister to take visible action, either by firing someone or launching a formal inquiry. But for now, Sir Keir Starmer is holding his ground, determined to show that he remains in control. The government must stay focused, one senior aide said firmly. That's the message from the top. No distractions, no drama, and no more leaks. Tensions inside Number 10 hit a new peak when another leak surfaced on Thursday morning, this time directly suggesting that a senior aide might have played a role in the earlier anonymous briefings. The news immediately sent shockwaves through Westminster. The leaked information, published by several outlets, hinted at internal emails and private notes that seemed to show coordination or at least knowledge of the briefings by someone high in the Prime Minister's office. The news sparked urgent meetings among senior ministers and advisors. According to sources close to the Prime Minister, Starmer called an urgent strategy session to assess the situation. He's determined to get to the bottom of this, one aide said. The Prime Minister knows that if he doesn't act, it will look like he's losing control of his own office. Morgan McSweeney, the Prime Minister's chief of staff, has once again come under intense scrutiny. While Number 10 continues to publicly express confidence in him, whispers in the corridors suggest that some ministers are quietly questioning whether he can remain in his role. Health Secretary Wes Streeting's office released a statement urging calm, emphasizing that the focus should remain on government priorities rather than internal squabbles. We cannot let politics distract us from the issues that matter to the public, it said. Political commentators say the new leak could represent a turning point. Dr. Helen Morris, a senior political analyst, warned, leaks like this put the Prime Minister in a difficult position. If he doesn't investigate and take action, it can be seen as tolerance of misconduct. But moving against someone close to him also carries risks. It could create more instability. Opposition MPs were quick to seize on the development. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch told reporters, "This latest revelation proves that Labour is running a government in chaos. The British people deserve transparency and accountability, not internal power games." Inside Labour, senior ministers are said to be split on how to respond. Some argue for immediate disciplinary action against the aides suspected of involvement, while others caution that any public confrontation could make the situation worse. Meanwhile, public attention is intensifying. Social media has erupted with speculation, with hashtags related to the leak trending nationwide. Journalists are scrutinizing every press briefing and statement for signs of conflict, further raising the pressure on Starmer's team. Despite the chaos, the Prime Minister is reportedly remaining focused on his core priorities. He's frustrated, but he's not panicking, one aide said. Starmer's message to everyone is simple. We deal with the leaks, but we don't let them distract from governing. As Number 10 braces for the possibility of more revelations, the next few days could prove decisive. Allies of the Prime Minister insist that a clear response is coming, one that will determine not only who is held accountable, but also the tone and discipline of his government going forward.